In this video, we will talk about string class and we will cover more useful string class methods. So we have more than one way to define a string. The first way, which is the conventional way, the way we are used to, is saying string and then give it a name is equal to something in parentheses and then semicolon. Now another way is to say string and then give it a name is equal to new string, and then we have the string in parentheses. Now, what is the difference? The only difference is that this is a shortcut, and both of them are actually creating an object of class string. Because remember, string is a class and not a primitive data type. Now, with those strings, once we create them, we can utilize a set of useful methods. Now, what I'm going to show you is not every single method in string class, but these are some useful methods. Now, one of them that's pretty familiar to you might be length, which is going to return the length of the string. We will not have any input for that, and we will have an output of an integer. Another one is char at. It's going to return a character at specific index. We have substring, which is going to chop some portion of the string and return it. Concat, which is concatenation, so this is going to work just like the plus operator. Remember, we said previously the plus operator in strings, when we use it with a string, is basically replacing the concat method. Two uppercase and two lowercase, which will return a copy of the string converted to the case that you specified. Compare to will compare two strings in alphabetical order and will return 0 if they're identical, negative number if the object string comes before the input string, and a positive number if the object string comes after the input string. What we mean by the object string is your string that you're trying to compare to something else. We have equals, which is the right way of comparing strings. Equals ignore case, which will compare them without worrying about the case. Starts with and ends with will check if the string starts with something or ends with something. Contains will check if the string contains some other string, and then finally we'll have trim, which will remove spaces from the beginning and the end. Now let's go to Eclipse and try to use some of those. So let me go ahead and create a new class, and I will call this string methods. And for this, let me just have main method, because what I'm gonna be doing is just running the functionality of the string class. So we can think of this as the driver of my string class. So string str is equal to, I can go ahead right like this and I can make a new string with something. So let me say this is my test string, and let me just have this as uppercase and the other one is lowercase. Now let's try to use some of those methods. So system.out.println, and I want to use str.length. So I want to know how big is my string. And now it's going to say this is 22 characters. Now let me just use another one. So char at, now this is going to give me an index, but remember the length is 22, so the last index is going to be 21. This is going to return this G for me. If I say 22, I'll get an exception, which is a runtime error that is saying it's out of bounds. So if we do this, see, string index out of bounds, because we're starting from 0. Now let's try another one. So if you want to get the first character, it's always 0. This is going to give you the first uppercase T. Another useful string method would be substring. So dot substring, and begin index, I want it to start from 0, and let's just randomly say 10. And this is going to give you 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So it's going to give you from index 0 to that one. Or actually, let's try concat. So concat is going to concatenate it with something else, like just using the plus sign. So concat, let me just concatenate it with an exclamation mark. So this is going to be considered a string. So this is what I will get. And to uppercase and to lowercase are pretty straightforward. So to lowercase, and let's just run it. No, I don't have any letter in uppercase, and if I do to uppercase, I will not have any letter in lowercase. Compare to, so let's try to compare to something. String dot compare to another string, which is just a string. Now if I do this, what I got is a negative number. So if it's a negative number, that means alphabetically this comes before my string. If I say, let me just place a y here, that's going to put this after my string. Let me just copy this and put it here first. Let's just try to make them the same first. Now it's 0, and let's do this. Or let's place the y at the beginning, just to try to make it alphabetically coming after this. So now this is going to come after it in alphabetical order. So let's check. Equals is pretty straightforward as well. Equals. So if I run this, it is going to return true or false, because now it's false because this is not equal. If I do this, it's going to be equal. And now this is going to be case sensitive. Oh, I have a space right here. That's why it's not equal. Spaces will matter. Now this is case sensitive, so if I do this, it's not going to be equal. So how do I resolve this? So I'll say equals, ignore case. Now let's run this. Now it's not going to care about the case anymore. Let's do starts with and ends with. So let me just take this off. str dot starts with, and then let me just say starts with this. Does it start with the keyword this or with the word this? The answer is true. Does it end with that thing? The answer is false. And now, does it contain it? The answer is true. I can just say, does it contain the word my? So, because this doesn't have to be in the beginning or the end. Does it have it anywhere? The answer is true. Now again, if we do it like this, the answer is going to be false because it's case sensitive. Now the last one I wanted to show is the trend. So If I have lots of spaces right here and lots of spaces right here, then I can just get rid of those spaces by just trimming that string. So I can say str.trim, and I will just do this. Now see, this is my string. I don't have anything in here, even if I click my mouse and try to get something here, because I don't have any spaces here or here. If I take this part out, if I take the trim part out, it is going to give me the one with spaces, see? And if we do dot length right now, it is going to be 43 characters. But if I do dot trim first, dot length, now this is going to count the trimmed string characters, which is 22, which is what we started with in the beginning.